Hey, good morning, internet. Right here, okay. Alright. I hope I'm not waking up my precious angel and her eccentric mom. It's like 4 o'clock, I think. I woke up a little early today. So I want to see if I can down this coffee. And then, I did water the lawn a little bit last night. Me and my dad did. But I want to do the whole thing today because he did half of it with the sprinklers, but the sprinklers don't get everything. And then I did another part of it with like the hose. And I try to get parts where like it's like not even green anymore, it's like almost brown. I don't know, I have no idea about regular grass. I just found out reading yesterday about yucca. It's called the cassava cane. That it doesn't need to be over, like it can suffer from overhydration. You can give it too much water. So you just have to water really like every 10 days. I didn't know that. I was watering the damn thing like damn near daily, like every other day, I think. I don't know. Well, I think that's because somewhere first I read that you're supposed to water it every day. I don't know. I get so confused. I'm gonna go visit my buddy, but he lives so far. It's like a 20-mile round trip. About like 18 something, just in the 19. Which doesn't sound like far if you're in a car, but if you're on a bicycle, it's pretty far. I mean, it's not like we have much catching up to do. I mean, what do you guys talk about? How you doing? I'm doing good. Okay, good, thanks. Alright. What's up? What's new? Not much. Okay, alright. Not like we sit there and we talk smack or anything. I just really want to pick his brain about, you know, the plants he's been growing, how his gardening's been going. But I want to start like doing stuff on my own, not stuff that mom started. Another thing she said she started was not the garlic, something else. All I know is that she said that it needs moisture. So I can look it up. He talks mostly about houseplants. I don't know. Anyways, that's gonna be my new little baby. My little baby's grown up, and I'm happy, but at the same time, it just feels like, you know how they say monkey see, monkey do? I don't feel like she's established enough of her own personality to be able to make choices on her own, like, conclusion based on the facts. And the reason why I say that is because her mom hates me, obviously, because her mom says that I talk on the internet, which I do, but the reason I hate somebody, if somebody says something on the internet, first of all, we know the internet is fake, so people are just fucking idiots, and they don't turn it off. That's why I like the Amish. They have no idea what's even going on in politics. They don't even know who the president is. But yet they're for the most part, you know, I mean, they're probably just like the rest of us, you know, some are happy, some are not happy, but for the most part, they're you know, they're happy because they're fucking like rabbits. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 children. Come on now. And on top of that, the best thing in life is having kids. I don't care what anybody says. Nothing can beat that. Sometimes I wish I was born like either a different time. Although in the past, you have to have a lot of children. One, because a lot of, you know, most of the work was farmhand, you know, before the Industrial Revolution. We didn't have the steam power to make machines, to, you know, to do the manpower that was needed to, you know, power the, you know, like, in order to use machines to create more agricultural and stuff like that. And we eventually needed that to feed more people. So essentially having more kids meant having more hands to help out on the field. And also because we didn't have the advancements that we do now in medicine, a lot of the kids that you would have would end up dying. So you have to get used to every now and then again having a child born that dies right away or doesn't live to be past like 3 or 4. Which is kind of sad, but I wonder what's more sad, that or the fact that now we're not even having kids because it's too expensive. I think the average rate for a woman to have a kid, if I remember right, is like 2.1 or maybe just under it, which is not enough to be able to, you know, reproduce the land, reproduce our population. So we're going to eventually hit that plateau. I think they say it's about 10 or 12 billion. And after that, we're going to see a decrease in population. It already started happening in certain places. Like in China. In China, I think the only place that hasn't happened yet is in Africa. Africa, the average age is like 18, but everywhere else, the average age is like 40 or 50, you know, because they stopped producing. And not a lot of countries allow immigrants, because immigrants can essentially help solve the problem a bit, but most countries are just closed off to the world. I think some of the countries that allow the most immigrants in are probably, besides the U.S., are probably like maybe France, maybe England, and I'm sure there's others, but it's kind of hard to get used to, you know, maybe like Germany, I'm not sure. And another thing too is people don't want to have kids, and can you blame them? Because at least here in the States, because everything is so expensive, everything is so like, if you want to just live and maintain, you need to have like 2 jobs unless you're educated, which my dumbass didn't do. or work the equivalent of 2 jobs and then say you make a lot of money. I'll tell you one thing, you can work the equivalent of 2 jobs, but will all that money you make ever buy that time back? But if you enjoy it, you enjoy it. So essentially you're not working, so you're winning. It's all good, you know, especially if your job requires you just, for the most part, testing out different strains of, you know, tetrahydrocannabinoids, I think it is. I don't remember. And I don't have anything else to say. I don't really have anything to talk about today. Sunday morning, I think it should be the 7th. I'm sure there'll be some games on today. City won yesterday 3-2 against, I think Leeds. Leeds is ranked number 17. So they're just one spot above the relegation zone. And the only reason why they have the same points as the 18th place, but they have I think like a 7-score a better average. So they have 7 goals in their favor, higher than the 18th place. So it's a close call. That's the only thing I get to watch nowadays. Well, I mean, I could watch MLS, but I don't know. I don't really like the way the format MLS is set up. I'm just used to like the way traditional like soccer is set up. It just seems easier to follow. If I'm not mistaken, MLS, they have like the East Coast division and the West Coast division, and then only the teams from each division will play each other. Am I wrong with that? Which doesn't really make a lot of sense, but the United States, they want to do things their way to be different, whatever. Getting old, man. I remember my boss used to always tell me, David, whatever you do, don't get old. I loved it when he said that. But the irony of it is, he wasn't old because he had the spirit of someone who was youthful and someone who was always happy. He is a Jehovah's Witness, a practicing one, I should say. And a lot of them actually do enjoy spreading the gospel. I just don't like listening to it because they're, in my opinion, yes, spread the gospel to those who don't know about it, because it could essentially be life-saving for them, but spreading the gospel doesn't mean that you have to have a washboard tower on you and then talk into detail about everything about Jesus and why he died and everything, because most of us know about that already. Like I mentioned the other day, Jesus died, IMO, for 2 main reasons. Now you have to remember, during this time in history, when Jesus was alive, people believed in all kinds of things, all different types of gods. They believed in like magical healing powers. That's why there was a book written once where it talked about, was Jesus a magician? They believed all kinds of stuff. So when the Romans heard that there's this guy going around preaching people and having people follow him, that's why they wanted to have him executed, obviously. I think it was during the time of the Roman Empire, the Holy Roman Empire. And then to top it off, the Roman Empire ended up becoming Catholic at that, after the fact that they killed the man that started the religion. And oh yeah, they're a big enterprise. I don't know how much money the Catholic Church makes, but I'm sure it's enough. It's more than the GDPs of most countries, including FIFA too. FIFA is another organization that rakes in tons of cash. They're almost like a mafia. they I forget what the exact numbers are, and who knows if this stuff we hear is true anyways. It could all be hearsay. It could just be narrative to like create news for people to hear. The news that we hear here could be different from the news that are told abroad. Nowadays we do have the internet, but you have to take everything with a grain of salt. Things that you hear online might not necessarily be true. And like I was saying yesterday about social media, what it was going to become and what it has become is just, I don't know. In my opinion, it's garbage. I mean, people posting about, oh, look what I'm eating, look where I'm eating, oh, look where I'm taking a vacation, da da. Everybody's like trying to one up each other, you know, to show that they're like number one in this rat race. That's the most idiotic thing, in my opinion. But if it makes people happy, you know, everybody has the right, the freedom, you know, they have their own right to do what they want to do to be happy. So, can't argue with that. And as far as I go, you know, if I can have a little bit of peace, that's good, fine by me, you know. I'm a little sad if my sister does take the job, which I hope she does, because I told her the other day that, you know, do it for you. You need to do it for yourself. You know, do something for you for once, because like I said, she's selfless. She's the most giving person I've ever met. And, you know, you need to think about yourself once in a while too. And if it is a good opportunity for her, she needs to jump on it. And she says she will miss her family, of course she will, but I mean, I'll try to make a trip as often as I can, if allowed, if possible. Only problem is the modes of transportation in this country are car, and car. We don't have like high-speed rails like other countries do. Our transit systems are just terrible. We don't have like dedicated lanes for buses. So essentially what the difference that would make is that if you take the bus, you would actually get to where you want to go faster. No, buses share the same lanes as regular cars do, so you're going to be stuck in the same amount of traffic. So it's worthless. Our roads are really not bicycle friendly. And not only that, but because it's all car centric, riding on a bike, it's like you're almost out of place, because if you want to get anywhere, it's not like you're going to be riding like a 5-10 minute bike ride. You're going to be riding like a 15, 20, 30 minute bike ride. And then you still have to work yourself. Just going from the beginning of where the store is to where the store is, passing through the parking lot, that on its own is like, you could have already passed like 3 or 4 stores, because everything deserves so much parking. It's like a concrete jungle where we live. And like I said, I don't need to say these things. There's these 2 channels I've been watching that cover it perfectly in detail. They're really good YouTube channels. I believe one of them is a member of Nebula. Nebula, again, is that subscription service that was created by YouTube creators so they can make content that otherwise would not be acknowledged by the almighty algorithm. And YouTube itself has changed a lot too. I'm not saying it's for the bad, you know, it is what it is. I mean, it was bound to happen anyways. I mean, it is, at the end of the day, they do have to make $1. I do want to join the YouTube Premium, the way I can avoid the ads, because like at night when I can't sleep, I usually just put the earphones in my ear and I try to listen, like just put something that's talkative to help me fall asleep. But then every once in a while, an ad will pop up and it'll wake me up. And I'm like, damn, I should just pay for the damn premium thing. And well, yeah, today's Sunday, so if you celebrate the Sabbath today, you're not gonna see this. I hope everybody has a wonderful day, filled with joy, filled with peace. I don't know. Maybe I will mop the whole house today. Lately, I've only been doing the kitchen. I've been lazy. I still vacuum, but it's just mopping the whole house. It's like, especially because the one that we don't have like a Rubbermaid industrial type, which are the ones that I like because the fact that the stick is longer, I don't have to bend over to like the more you bend over, the more you hurt your back, and my back is really what kills me most of the time. And so and also since it's longer, you actually get to do, you could knock out the whole house in like 10 minutes, you know, if you do it properly. But we never insisted on buying one. I did buy one when I worked at the eye doctors that I mentioned about, that I worked up until like 2013. And I bought it for the main reason that, you know how they say certain smells will provoke people to like do certain things. Like when you walk into a casino, it smells a certain way. Same thing when you walk, you know, there's actually a whole field of that, of people who are, you know, they just focus on smells of places. They give places certain smells, that way people, when they go into a place, you know, that they, you know, the aroma, and it creates an environment. So I just figured, tell the boss, hey, look, you know, we should mop our floors, at least during the days when, you know, when the doctor's in and we have business coming in. That way, you know, it smells nice and clean, and it will create an environment that, you know, people will probably actually want to do good. And I know we were doing good when we were working, me and the other person I was working with, because we got raises without even asking for it. I mean, granted, we were already we weren't getting paid that much. It was more than the minimum wage at the time, of course. It was actually what the minimum wage is now. That's what we were getting paid. When we got the raise, we got 25 cents more. Minimum wage should go up in September, I believe, to $12, which is still laughable, but whatever. I remember when I was in my 20s, everybody used to tell me, get an education, get an education, get an education. I was just too hard-headed, or I just put it off to the back burner, and I never did. I still essentially could, and you know, the door's still open, the door's still there in case I still want to open it. I was thinking waiting till Mariah gets to the age when she finally graduates high school, and if she decides to go to university, to go with her. I thought it would be a fun experience. Now, obviously, I'm not going to take the same classes as her, and I'm not going to try to, like, be anywhere near her. You know, I want her to have her own experience. We could even go to different ones if that, but at least it would be something that we're both doing, and we're both, like, involved in. We can have convos about, things like that. But I just hope she makes it that far because, just because. I just hope she does. She's still kind of young. She really doesn't understand the concept of a lot of things. Like, maybe sometimes she's being playful, but sometimes it just feels like for instance, when it comes to spending money, she thinks money it's just there. All kids do. When in reality, people are struggling. People are living today up tomorrow's money. I can't say the same because I don't have any credit cards. I used to have a bunch of them when I was in my 20s. I think I even got the lowest level American Express at one point. It was like the blue one. But then one day I just maxed them all out, and after that I said the F with it, and I never paid them back. It's been well over 7 years. I could probably apply for one now, but the problem is I have to have proof of income, and working under the table, you don't really get proof of any income. You don't get any sense of Social Security. So I essentially effed myself by doing that. I should have just gotten a regular job, even though it might have paid a little bit less. The reason I wanted to work on the table is because during those times when I was working, it was more than the minimum wage. But as soon as the minimum wage caught up, I thought they're going to want to hire somebody, to work under the table for what the minimum wage is. I don't know. I have no idea. And I'm going to have to broaden my scope as far as to where I want to work. I really wanted to work at that one place so that I could leave my daughter with something, because they have that work a certain amount of hours, you get a certain amount of stocks of ownership of the place where you work at, which you can cash out when you're retired. And I wanted to at least leave that to her, but excuse me. So even though you're working minimum wage, at the least you're working towards something, that is going to be good for you in the future. So it's the most logical thing to do. But I redid my application a little bit early. I wasn't supposed to do it till Tuesday. I did it yesterday, and I added in there a couple lines. Please, I really need this job. And what kind of but bothers me is that I see new faces in there, and I'm not saying I'm like the sharpest tool in the shed, but when I see some of these people trying to learn what they're doing, it's like, it's like, and then I remember that too, because when I was working at the eye doctors, I had to train one of my employers. I had to train his best friend's niece, and this girl, every time I showed her how to do something, she got it right away, and instantly I could tell this is a smart girl. She's gonna go to school and she's gonna become something. And so did the people that the first guy that I worked with, Evan, Mitchell, and Amy. I know Evan became an MD. Whatever Mitchell's doing, I'm sure he's happy because he wanted to follow his own path. And Amy, I'm not exactly sure what she did. I feel bad because her mom died when she was young, and she was such a beautiful, bright young girl. And her mom was one of the nicest people around, so that was sad. Those were some of my first encounters with death, seeing the wives of my two employers die. Well, the first encounter was when I saw my great-grandfather, but I was too young back then to understand the concept. And now I reached a point in my life where it almost feels like I know more dead people than I do live people. But that's besides the point anyways. Alright, let me cut it short. I don't have anything else much to say. May peace and love be with every one of you. And may your day be filled with joy and peace and happiness. Thank you for watching. I guess I'll go start working on the front lawn now. I'm just gonna do a quick watering since we watered it last night. But I'm not sure if what we did was correct because you're supposed to wait a certain amount of time before you cut it. I don't know if we waited long enough. But Dad said he would take care of everything, so he knows what he's doing. There are some patches of grass that are like brown. They look like, you know, they want to die. So that's why I kind of want to do another quick watering real quick. It doesn't seem like it rained at all last night. I don't feel any humidity. But anyways, thanks for watching. Love you guys. Bye.